I've been very fortunate. For 35 years I've been doing photography. You become a businessman and photography is really 70% marketing. You have to be constantly out there marketing yourself. When I would go to conferences, people would go, you know that big guy, the big guy who takes pictures? So my email became bigguypictures@gmail.com. So just, again, market, market, market. I do business-to-business photography. I'm the official photographer of the Supreme Court of Canada. I work for the Canadian Space Agency, National Defense. I'm going on tour right now with the National Arts Centre Orchestra. Every year I go on tour with them. You start freelancing, you do this because you love it. And when you love what you do, you never work. I am so fortunate that at 56 years old, I can still pick up a camera and go to, not go to work. Just have fun. And it's a passion. As an entrepreneur, you'll work twice as hard as all the rest of your friends, and you'll be paid half of what your friends are working. But at 56, I don't look 56. I know I don't. I feel alive. I wake up every morning scared. What am I going to do today? How am I going to be better than yesterday? And that's kind of being an entrepreneur, being a photographer, because there's young people behind me who want to be where I am. So I have to be faster than them. And it's like running a marathon every day, being an entrepreneur. Like every entrepreneur, you start off with your credit card. And you start off with a small balance, and believe it or not, pretty quickly you can't pay it. So you go to banking. Banks will help to a varying degree, but to be really honest, banks are only going to help you if you have over $1 million in assets or sales. It's just the reality of banking. So you basically use shoestring budgets, and that's how you work it. The one thing that I've learned is that I'm a photographer. I'm not a marketing person, and I'm not an accountant. So I went out and searched for a good accountant and a good bookkeeper. And I went out and searched for someone who can help me with marketing. Because I know my specialty, it's photography. It's not marketing. And so I always believe in hiring people who are smarter than you in their chosen fields. If it wasn't for the Aboriginal community, my business would be bankrupt right now. The Aboriginal community came to me and they said, we want to work with you. And I'm like, you want to work with me? For 30 years, they've stuck with me. And then the people who work in the federal government, they see my work and they say, we want to work with you. So I do a lot of work with National Defense on Aboriginal issues, and it's been a wonderful experience. What's the biggest challenge right now has always been the fact that I would love to do, this is not politically correct, but I want to say this to you. I get hired for brown-eyed work, I don't get hired for blue-eyed work. And I would really like to be hired as a photographer. I don't want to be hired as a native photographer. I want to be hired as a Canadian photographer. I wish people would hire me for my talent, not for the color of my skin. You can allow prejudice to ruin your life. I'm not going to allow it. I am who I am, and I can't change that. And I'm going to celebrate who I am, but I don't need it. I don't need to wear it on my shoulder. I'm proud to be Aboriginal. I'm also proud to be a photographer. I'm also proud to be self-employed for 35 years. In any business, you will be pigeonholed. And it's up to you to change that pigeonhole. You have to constantly change your marketing strategies to get into new markets, because you cannot rest. You can never rest in business. You have to be constantly marketing. You hear it constantly, people saying, love what you do. You're not going to be able to find that when you're 17, but you may be able to find that when you're 21. I found it when I was 21. One of the greatest experiences I ever got in business was I was asked to photograph an assignment. And he asked me, how much are you going to charge? And I said, wow, let me photograph it and then we can figure out a price. And he looked at me and gave me a stern look. And he said, Uncle Bobby's going to give you an advice. If you act like a clown in business, you're going to be treated like a clown in business. And that is probably the greatest piece of advice I ever got. I see so many people spend their time doing business cards, doing their website, and they spend 6 months doing that. What you have to do is get a clear vision and go for it. You should be able to do the standard thing of an elevator pitch, and your business plan should be on a paper napkin. After 5 years in business, your quality has to get better. You constantly have to improve. You constantly have to get new equipment. You constantly have to improve the people who you're working with. And you constantly have to improve your customers. And you have to get better customers, bigger customers, and you have to grow with your customers. You can't work with people who are going to be at a certain level their whole life. You've got to be able to grow with your customers and get old with them.